There we are. 2 minutes later, I had to go chase down Zoe. It's August 31st, 2014. And we are streaming live on YouTube at Beautiful Girl by Dana. I am Dana Durnford, and my main site is the Nuclear Proctologist. And we'll cover that in a minute when I can verify that I am streaming live. Come on, Dana. Let me hear your squeaky little voice there. It's a-coming. There we go. Hi, Toxic. Young A, Missing Sky. Paul, Radioactive Banana. Amthirst. Punisher's here. Toxic. Punisher. And who did I leave off with? Missing Sky. Just say hi to a few people before I get going. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Dave. It's about time. It's about time for the show. I had to go chase Zoe down. Mickey. Adam. Patrick. McCormick. Thank you. Everybody, Candace. Just make sure I get a few extra people before we start the stream. Make sure I got audio. Here's the audio and we're good to go. There you go. Looks good, folks. I'm just going to pop up the desktop presenter and see if I can get that to work for a change. And so pay no attention for the next minute till I make sure that pops up over there. What can I bring up? Nuclear Proctologist. That'll show up nice and orange on my screen. We are getting ready for the final countdown. And that's pretty exciting. You folks came through. You folks came through in a big way. Punisher got us a boat and thousands of dollars worth of equipment for safety. And everybody else got us cameras and microscopes and are funding the trip, the fuel, the expendables. And I mean, there's not going to be much extra, obviously, because that's all we're doing for around 90 days is getting pictures every day. Looks like the desktop presenter is working. And so while we got that, hi Kate. You'll find Kate's link below to the Fukushima Hound site. That's an independent site by Kate. And it's a good spot to learn things and ask questions. And so is my site. It's a good spot to ask questions. And sometimes it can get pretty rough there. Now up in the top right hand, I got to wait for my hand to come up. Top right hand of the screen, you see sections. If you click on that, and you'll see each one of these sections. And if you read everything in each one of these, it'll take you 6 or 7 hours to get through each section. And the Expedition for Life, page 15 was one I added today. Fukushima death to Pacific Ocean marine life. And I'll just give you an idea. There's around 350 headlines about the ocean and about Japan. I got some other stuff put in there for context. Now this one in particular was May 12, 2014. Abalone massacre. Carcasses of sea urchins and starfish and other mollusks. Alterations in 30 of the genes unknown to science suddenly proliferating and killing wildlife. Now that's an important story. Let me move on. And you can click either side of that page. Now I'm going to show you a story while we're here. Surge in marine mammals stranding on the US West Coast. Now if you come down, and I know it's not going to be huge over there, but if you come down to it, you see domoic acid. Jason Smith, Moss Landing Marine Lab. Now that acid is created by algae. And so what they're saying is there's big blooms of algae and they're creating too much of this acid and that's killing off the wildlife. And other versions of that. But what I want you to understand is that of the 600 algae that are indigenous to our coastline, we only found 4. So I'm a little confused of how acid created by algae is the problem, not radiation from Fukushima, which is hemorrhaging into the ocean non-stop all day, every day, for over 1,300 days. And they only got a couple of days to start telling the truth, because after that, everybody's going to be coming after them for statements like that. And it's ridiculous and stupid to blame it on that, and it's just another way of covering up the lie. It's like bananas, like walking in the sunshine routine. It's like potato chips routine. It's all just one big lie meant to completely confuse everybody so you can't have a debate. And the Intrepid 2, you seen that there that time? we'll come back over to the Intrepid 2. And if you close that page, and we can come back to that after. But at the top of the page, the front page is Expedition for Life. And so when you come to the page, at the very top of the page, right below those couple of paragraphs, every day I'll put the new story starts right at the top of that page, and it moves down the page as each day progresses all down this page, right? So just because we're leaving really quick here, there's a good possibility tomorrow, or certainly the next morning, we should be in the water. And so I figured I'd get another stream, and I might as well do it. We're waiting to get the boat back from the welders. They're putting a roof on it. They kind of took it too far. It looks like it's going to cost me a lot more money than what that was planned, and of no use to me. And so we might have to bite it on that. That's irrelevant, I guess, at this stage, because we got to go. But we're going to go even if the whole world wakes up and says, okay, we killed the ocean. We're sorry. We're still going to go, obviously, to make sure they got no wiggle room. I'm not sure how far I'm going to be able to go. Certainly, I'll be in the camper. At least I can do that much, I hope, without too many issues. And they'll be on the ocean. We got... Paulette bought us a couple of cameras that actually got a microscope mode. Really cool. Really cool. So if we see any insects, we can put it in the microscopic mode and be able to see any deformities or anything like that. So if we find a bunch of insects, we can get really close up, high quality, 16 million pixels. Just gorgeous, just stunning pictures. And if you're too close, it'll blur. And if you're too far away, it blurs. But there's a 4-inch in the middle. So if you're anywhere in that spot, you'll get a perfect shot. And it really worked. Totally works. And so we got microscopes also coming. We'll be taking samples, high quality shots with that, and uploading that onto the site and sending out samples. And we really got it all working together now. And so every day we'll add to the front page, which has now become the Fukushima Expedition for Life main page. So the nuclearproctologist.org, once you get to that front page, you'll be right on it. The very first at the top will be the top story of the day each day of what we're doing. We expect around 1,000 pictures, lots of microscopic pictures. We also got a camera to poke down. So if John's out there watching this, send me a letter because I know you're trying to make one. And we can put it on a stick with a light and put it down 4 or 5 feet up to 50 feet and still get footage right away immediately every day underwater from here on out with good quality design just for that job. And those cameras, you can drop them 7 feet and you can't hurt them apparently. So we got a whole lot of pluses because we got 2 of them. So it's pretty hard to fool that one up. And the best part about it is we can get the app, and we will, so you can take your pictures with the cell phone. And it'll be on a pedestal or a stand for all the pictures, and we'll stand by it and take the pictures with the cell phone, and that way even less shaking or any less blurring going on in the pictures. And so we're really excited about that. It's a big ordeal what we're trying to do, trying to come in every day and get out to and send samples across the planet to be looked at and have independent samples for anybody that wants it. Absolutely, that's what we're trying to accommodate. And I mean, that's really going to be a lot of extra work, but got to get done. We got to get these samples. We got to get water. We got to get it under the microscope and get these pictures. And so we can see immediately every day the basics. A couple of 100 pictures at least of microscopic stuff. Plus the camera will get us extraordinary close-ups with the cameras. Unimaginably quality. Really something. So 4,500 by 3,400 for those pictures. So it'll be really good. You'll be able to zoom right in on it. We'll upload them into raw formats for everybody. We got all the dates set on the cameras. So don't worry about that one. We're not foreseeing any issues because you folks have taken care of us so well. And particularly with Jeff Palco getting us a real boat like you see in the picture and actually getting us the real safety gear. Everybody just feels so much better and so more focused, because you don't have to think about their safety no more. That's fine. And we're not going to go out in dangerous stuff. We don't have to. We'll stay on shore, go out next day. If it's too windy for a couple of weeks, we'll just pick it up and get out of there, go somewhere where there's no wind and get back in the water the next day. We're not going to sit there and wait for things to change. We are going to go out and change it ourselves. And so it's hardcore. We're going to need your support the entire way through, right till the end. And we'll hit the Northwest Territory, we'll hit the Yukon. After 30 days, we'll come back down and finish off the coastline. And by goodness, by that point there'll be no more acid routine nonsense. You won't be hearing about domoic acid anymore. They'll all have to come on board, and they're all going to have to take their lumps. We're all going to have to band together and join together and treat it like a big meteorite coming at this planet. That's the only way forward. There's no other way. And so we either treat it like a meteorite that's going to destroy everything on this planet, and every university and institution and business on this planet goes to work for the entire future to deal with it, or just give it up right now and walk away and suffocate and everything else. There is no other option, see? You can't kill the Pacific Ocean without killing the rest of it. And the carnage is extraordinary for just 3.5 years. It's a total nightmare. It's unimaginable what we got done to this planet. Once again, if they wanted to kill all the humans, I can kind of understand it. A little bit. But to kill the 8.8 million species, why? What did they do? How did they deserve to be annihilated by the nuclear industry? And why didn't the nuclear industry tell us 25 years ago this was happening to us, and that when Fukushima happened it would be the death of the entire planet, and that every nuclear reactor is on the ocean or on a river ready to do the same thing? Every friggin' one of them. And I have a puff on my no chemicals and no filter cigarettes. And I know MSVS, I think it was saying, mistook what I was talking about, a filter in a cigarette. If you put a filter on it, it allows the small particles, the big particles, or smaller particles to get through. Now, I know what you're saying. The filter, it just makes more of them. It creates more of them, of the smaller particles that are able to get through the liners of your lungs. The big filters, they're getting all plugged up in their natural pathway. Not all of them. I know people can ninny me to death on this one. I'm just saying it's better not to have the filter anyway, because the filter is toxic, and the filter is designed to make only the little tiny particles get through, and they're mixing with the filter itself. There's no chemicals, 4,000 chemicals in the cigarette, and even if I'm wrong about the filter, the fact that you're getting rid of the 4,000 chemicals out of the cigarette negates all of that, and I have to apologize all the time because that's what they're doing to you. I know right now I'm getting a lot of anger tossed at me, a lot of attacks up on me, and nobody wants to go to the 16 beaches that we went to and see what I'm talking about. And the ones that do don't want to go to the tide pools. They find an insect or something and that somehow magically replaces 5,600 species. I understand there's a lot of people out there can't wrap their mind around it, so I don't care. But I'm just saying that if somebody really wanted to try to debunk what we've done, there's only one way you can do that. You have to go to the same beaches in 200 kilometers. If you're not willing to do that, you shouldn't open your mouth. You have no right to open your mouth. You didn't go and look, so you got no right whatsoever, period, to assault me, slander me, attack me, to demonize me, because that's morally and ethically wrong. And that shows that you're a horrible person, the people that are doing that. It shows that you're actually a monster and a moron. And your parents are probably ashamed when they find out what you've done. Miss Milky the Clown made it in, who never stopped year after year. And of course, Jan has got two sites, Miss Milky the Clown and Miss Milky the Clown 1. And they're loaded with the documentation of Fukushima as it was happening. Re-uploaded it. It's just a fantastic wealth of information on both of those sites. And good or bad, that's the whole point of reporting on it. I'm different because I'm a blogger. But somebody who's grabbing the news, if they don't put it up on the internet, how the frig are we going to know what's going on? If somebody don't go and aggregate it all, and don't choose sides, just put it all there and let us fight about it. There's nothing wrong with that. And remember, I made a mistake many months ago where I called out somebody for doing that, not taking the extra time to think what I'd done until the next day when I realized how stupid that was. Because without these people putting it out there, how are we going to find it? How are we going to flush it out? And I'm not saying that's an issue with Miss Milky. I'm just saying that's an example. Missing Sky is at it. Numeral Magic will do it. I'll do it. Anybody else that's doing it. Pink will do it. Pink Sapphire doesn't stop. 2. You'll find her link below the site. And once again, hi Laurie. And anybody I didn't say hi to, I say hi to you. Mr. Maxwell. So the fact that they're saying that domoic acid, which is created by algae, and we only found 4 of the 600 indigenous species, means they should probably shut their mouths too. Because they're only causing us more grief and agony and making people stupid, and then they know better. They know what's going on. They're only making up shit at the last of it. And they just keep coming up with this kooky shit rather than deal with the issue. Right? Rather than deal with the issue. Jason Smith, there's a whole bunch of them saying that. Clarissa Anderson, marine scientist, she's even now saying it. Why don't they put the nuclear scientists? Why are they bringing these morons into the equation? Why not get us nuclear scientists? They're like the most rarest thing on the planet in the last couple of years. Is there any nuclear scientists left on the planet? Just the same old, all day, every day? And they got to roll out marine labs, marine scientists, but we're talking about nuclear. We're not talking about marine shit anymore. We're talking nuclear. So rolling out these morons without the right people is not helping it. And they only got a couple of days of doing this routine before we expose it all. Period. Forever. And so they need to stop. They need to stop what they're doing. And we need to get to work like it's a big meteorite coming at this planet, because that's what it is. It's nothing less. But anyway, once again, let me remind you before I jump off this and go back to the other one, is that there's 16 sections. And each one of these sections, let me see if I can find an interesting one for you. Page 10, California. That's a big one. All of these are really perfect. Nuclear accidents worldwide. There's 500 or 600 nuclear accidents in there and experiments and everything on humans. You can really see what these creatures are like. Page 13 was 200 kilometers of Canadian coastline. You can go down to those same beaches, go through those pictures. Page 6 is Fukushima quick pick pictures. There's around 2,000 pictures. Chernobyl, right, that first one, page 2. Think about that. Chernobyl always gets brought into the equation of Fukushima, so I created a page to help you understand what's really going on here. Chernobyl was 1/3 the size of Fukushima. Chernobyl was graphite. Fukushima was max fuel, 2 million times worse than any other reactor on the planet today, let alone back then. So reactor 3 at Fukushima was 18 million times, not counting the fuel pool, 18 million times worse. But because they're spraying water on the reactor all the time, because the buildings are shaking and materials falling in, that is being aerosol and atomized and liberated back into the environments, and is the equivalent every day of another melted reactor being aerosol into the environment where the radioactive ionized elements. There's a mouthful for you. Let me get rid of this. Come back over to the kooky stuff. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Fukushima was in the center of a 9.2 earthquake. And it picked up every building and broke their backs, broke their basements and everything else. Broke 500 miles of coastline or more. It had a tsunami that rushed through there and tore up 500 miles of coastline. The nuclear power plant had detonations. Unit 1, Unit 2, and Unit 3 and 4 all had 100% meltdowns and melt-throughs. Now Unit 4, and I got that covered on my site extensively in sections. Unit 4, and I remind me, I took a page down today. I'll have to put all that stuff back up in the other sections and add it onto it because we changed the front page. And it's still tons there on Unit 4, don't get me wrong, but I'll put the rest of it up right away because that's got to get back up there. So the front page got knocked down because I don't know the site that well. It's probably still sitting there. Maybe I can just find it and stick another name on it and put it in the section. If not, I'll re-upload it all. It wasn't that much because we changed the page originally, right? So Unit 3 and Unit 4. Unit 4 in particular. Here's what they done to Unit 4. They tore the roof off it and they built a structure up and across it. And then what they done was they told the world up on TEPCO that it looks like that on the inside. Now, Unit 4, all they done was built a structure with cranes. There's nobody, right? The building was totally destroyed, annihilated. And look at that building. Now look at the roof and the walls and everything inside of this next one. That's supposed to be inside of the last building. So look at the roof and look at the walls. Now look at this building that was detonated, caught fire many times, detonated again. Think of how they ripped everything off the top of it. They never went inside the structure. Right over here. They never went inside the structure. They built the structure up and across it with cranes. And they're laying panels in with the cranes. And a whole bunch of media is out there telling everyone that this is the most dangerous part of the operation. The people are inside of this building. And they're claiming that that building, I kid you not, is inside of the little structure left there from that 10-story building. Right? So that's a huge issue that they're doing that. And they're creating that fiction. That's what they're doing. And at the same time, these buildings are hemorrhaging into the ocean because the ocean is running over the rods and the fuel pellets and the melticoriums and the fissionable products that were detonated. Remember that part there? Right? The buildings blow up. Yeah? Look at number 3. Right? Number 3 over there. It's missing. The core was ejected all over the site. And so that sunk down, and every time it rains and all the water is spraying on it is washing all that fissionable products, ionized elements, and isotopes, atoms, out into the ocean because there's a riverbed there. And so there's the animosity equivalent of around 1,000 pounds a minute pouring into the ocean of radioactive. And this is all hot particles. Everything coming out of Fukushima is hot particles. Everything. Every bloody thing, because they were using MOX fuel and plutonium and everything. They were using melted reactors and everything. None of the rods and none of the reactors were the typical reactor rods. They were missiles from silos, every one of them. And so they distracted you and lied to you, manipulated you all the way up to the point where nobody can tell what the frig was going on, and we had to flush it all out, and we did. Greetings, Nuya, Santiago. Chile is super cool. That simulation is totally off. What simulation? Of the ocean? Well, that simulation of the ocean is only cesium-137. There's 100 times more strontium. And it's got iodine in it, but there's iodine-131 in it, but there's, the new reports come out, there was 31 times more iodine-129 than there is iodine-131. There was 2,000 other radioactive elements every day, 24 hours a day, 1,440 minutes a day being released in the ocean. So yeah, that model is off, because they say 6 years, but it only takes 131 days to cross the ocean at 2 miles an hour, 24 hours a day. And then every day beyond it was another plume. So you shouldn't be able to, the whole thing should be completely bright red, because it's 130 days of plumes. There's a plume every minute of every day, 1,440 minutes a day. So it's off, all right, in a big bad way, because it's 2,000 times worse. Because you don't include all those radioactive elements. And the fact that Japan and all the media out there has lied consistently about Unit 3, and that's 18 million times worse than Chernobyl. 18 million times worse than Chernobyl. If there's not enough water going down there to force no currents between another one. What are you talking about, man? DGD something. We add a mixture of water and it flows with a current, which flows alongside an opposing current. Do you know what an ocean current actually is? I used to swim against it for 14 years as a commercial diver. You can pour as much water as you want. You're not going to change the current, bud. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm not liking it. Hi, Alex Smith. I got your envelope. Thank you. Hi, Punisher. Nubru Magic. Missing Sky. Fix it, stupid. No, the model is irrelevant. We're just using it for a picture to have a chat about and explain it. I didn't even say where the model came from. It's irrelevant. So Ronald McKnight, if your screen keeps freezing, drop the resolution on the video down because we're shooting 1280 by 720. That's what we're streaming out there. And if you don't have a dedicated memory card, that's what will happen to your screen, to your processor. It can't handle it without a dedicated memory card. You need to reduce the resolution down to 480 or something. Hopefully that'll help you. We got 4 melted reactors in 3.5 years of bullshit to surf through, where they're saying this is inside of broken buildings. And right, so like talking about currents and talking about radiation dispersion, it don't matter because the jet stream carried it over and it flowed back on top of that. And no matter how much water we pour on it, we ain't changing jack shit because we didn't do nothing like that. A garden hose is not going to change the ocean. Trust me. I'm not yelling at you yet. I'm just yelling at you, telling you that don't waste our time with that stuff because it doesn't mean nothing. Focus, focus, focus. Let me get back over to some really good stuff. Hang on while we move along here. Oh, I got it here somewhere. Hang on. So coming up is a picture of each beach. And you can see there's just a few remains of barnacles, but there was no. That's another beach. These are the 16 beaches that we went through, and that instead of seeing life everywhere, all we see is the kelp. And you can see the kelp. It looks like that green kelp you see there. Doesn't that look like the stuff they spray on the side of the highway? Look at it. Right, it looks like the stuff they spray on the side of the highway. You know. It's got that weird color. I've never seen that on the ocean before. And so that there's nothing clinging to the rocks, just barely little bits and pieces. There's 1/5600 of what should be there, or 4 or 12/5600 of what should be there. So each of these spots, like that's like a river. There's nothing there, just a couple of strands of algae, and the other 598 species of algae were missing. There was nothing on the legs of the wharfs and the piers and the ferry docks and the 16 beaches. There was no sea anemones. There should be all kinds of sea anemones, all kinds of life clinging to this is low tide shots. These shorelines, you shouldn't be able to get up on the shoreline. There should be so much kelp and so much algae and bull kelp everywhere and jellyfish on everything. You break your neck trying to get up there. Right now you can jump ashore and walk on up anywhere you want to. We've never seen that in our entire history, and all we see is just barely enough life on a rock at best to fit in a Dixie cup or something smaller on a beach. There's nothing. You see a few shells, a little, like old shells, but you don't see anything fresh. It was there at one time, right? And even this is shocking. There was no life there. And that's what we're going to find. And here was the blue mussels, and up in the top corner you can see a couple of oysters. But they look like they're ready to die. The water was completely dirt. But look at these colors. It's like the stuff you see on the side of the highway when you spray it there. It's the damnedest thing I've ever saw. And there's a good picture of the weed. None of this is healthy looking. Nothing we seen was healthy looking. Nothing we seen actually looked. That's a purple starfish. A couple of them. 4 or 5 there, you can't see them. But out of the 64 starfish, that was the only species we found was the purple. Unimaginable for the most wildest coast, in Canada. And look at it. This is from the shore. This is from the water line at low tide looking in on land. And you can see Terry's shadow down there. That there's nothing there. There's nothing on the rocks. That was a super low tide. I think that was the last day. That was a huge low tide. And even the log over there never had anything. Just a couple of strands of kelp and that was it. But look at that. That looks like river. That's actually the ocean, open ocean, coastline. And it looks like a river. It's the damnedest thing I've ever saw. I've never saw that in my life. And look how pure the water is. Normally the water is full of microscopic creatures. The bigger ones that you can actually see with your eyes. But you can see like a soup of life when it's like that. And the water is perfectly, it looks like it's sterilized. And that's what we're going to find out with the microscopes and everything else. And what we're going to do is we're going to start around Comox. We're going to work our way around the bottom, the Victoria. We're going to go up the west coast. And then all the way up the north. And then all the way up to Tuktoyaktuk. And up to the Yukon Northwest Territory. And let me see what I got here for you. Money bomb. That was the first day. Fukushima pictures. No, let me explain it to you here. That you gotta think about St. Paddy's Day. And St. Paddy's Day, where they put 25 pounds of dye in the river. Think about doing that every minute. And you never stop doing it forever. Forever. And it runs into the ocean. And that dye doesn't go away for millions of years, because all you use is uranium-238 in the, that's the most majority of it, and that's got a 4.5 billion year half-life. But you think about the iodine-131 and the incredible numbers you've seen of that. You got to multiply it by 31 to get the amount of iodine-129 with a 15 million year half-life. So they really done us. They done the entire planet in, and it's time to get heard and get felt. And it's time to eradicate the lies and the nonsense and the misrepresentation and treat it like a big meteorite coming at this planet. Because if we done that, we have half a hope. If we don't do that, we got no hope. And it's like radioactive dye on St. Paddy's Day that never goes away and lasts forever. See? Because you can't see the radiation in its conventional form. So people, the community, the international community, and the academic community told you to look for tuna. Oh, tuna might be too radiated. That's not what you look for. You look for the microscopic life in the nursery of the habitat, right? You look for the intertidal pools. And that's where you should find the damage. The last thing we expected to see was it to be annihilated. That was the very last thing we expect to see, because the ocean should reseed it right away. Within 2 weeks, should be babies everywhere. And big life should crawl up from down deeper and fill up all the vacant spots. That's how it works in the real world. On every ocean on the planet. And it's like having a wooden helicopter. The ocean is friggin' useless. And now it's toxic. And that's what I mean, right? When you put the dye into the river, you can see the dye. When you put the radiation in the river, you can't see the radiation. But does that mean that it's not there? Because you can put 1 million atoms on the head of a needle, but you still can't see it. Does that mean it's not there? And does that mean that a single atom still won't give you cancer because you can't see it? Because I can assure you, the MOX fuel that you use in every one of the reactors, a single atom will give you cancer in 5, 10, 15 years. But those atoms will destroy the microscopic world till the end of time. That's the problem. That's the inherent issue with it. Hang on. I don't know what I got here. Well, that was the morons attacking me. We don't want to go down that road because it just pissed me off. Hang on. Let me keep trying. One more try, Dana. Never got what I was looking for. It's okay. I just like clicking on shit. That's who I am, right? I click on stuff. Hang on. Let me one more try, folks. Let me see what we got kicking around. Who knows what I got here? I got so much shit I can't keep up with it. I'll find it. Don't worry about me, folks. Only another minute. Bear with me. Haha, I got it. Look at that. I'm a kick-asser. Now let's see if that shows up. But that's the dispersal model. That's not accurate either. DJ. That's right, DG. DV. I can't pronounce your last name. I apologize. I tried. And that's why it sounds weird. Because I can't pronounce your last name. DG. Right, like I do that with anybody that shows up here. Is that the dispersal models, of course, are only based up on a single release from Unit 1 at Fukushima. I'm waiting to see if it shows up here. And on the other screen, because I got the screen playing there so I can keep an eye on it. Because we have a lot of issues doing what I'm doing. Yeah, the simulations of Fukushima radiation dispersion can be produced within minutes now. Right, because all we got to do is put in the inputs. But what they done was this model here is only based upon, this was Noah's model, is only based upon a single release from Unit 4 over a couple of days, and they don't include the other reactors. They don't include the melted reactors. They don't include the missing fuel pools. They don't include the other 13 reactors at Fukushima. Right? None of them did. None of these models, all of these models are based upon just a short release from number 1. And number 1 is missing its fuel pool at the top. And they now got a sarcophagus, a Kevlar sarcophagus around it. But I want to think about what else Japan is doing. Japan is using its incinerators to try to get rid of its radioactive material right at Fukushima Daiichi Military Industrial Complex's Directed Energy Weapons Production Facility, aka nuclear power plant. And then all the prefectures' incinerators are burning 300 becquerels a kilogram of some of the most horrendous stuff imaginable. That's only what they identified, say, in cesium. But there's 2,000 other elements there. And so none of them are in these models. It's just a simple, like all the releases, and then all the ashes left over from the burning, they're dumping that into the rivers and the oceans. And they're non-stop at this. They're going around cleaning up communities that you can't clean up, but they're digging up the topsoil and doing something. And then they take that and they dump it in the rivers or burn it in the incinerators and other prefectures. It's shocking. They're completely 100% out of control. And it's up to us to bring this to the light. And that is what we are doing. Let me see what else I got for you today. Who knows with me? I got so much shit on my computer. I can't keep up with it. Thank you, Fix It Stupid. Nuts for Art. Laura. Sylvia. Yeah, I got to say hi to lots of people. Yeah, they can't turn back time. What do we got here? Shaky Trip. I wonder if the radiation... Let me try to get control of this chummy here. Yeah, it's okay, MSVS. No big deal. I just figured I'd catch up it. Nobu Magic says T-Bags. Hi, Tracy. So, street credibilities. Every time I see that picture, I think of Kevin Blanche. Because I love Kevin Blanche. And I love that picture. I love Kevin because he got what it takes. And he's not going to get left behind. No matter what we do, right? It's people like that. People like Thomas Ackerman that are great thinkers. An Original Punisher, Nubru Magic, Miss Milky the Clown. I mean, these are just some of the people that I always mention that I got links below for people to find. You got Rad Chick, for goodness sakes, who hasn't stopped and has reached millions of people just in single blogs with other medias. She's made an incredible impact for us. And same, she's here long before I was. Same with everybody else. I just happened to find a little niche and fit in there. And I'm a bit more cockier than most people because I've been at it for 8 years anyway. And so I understand the nuclear industry pretty well. It just took me a number of months to catch up. And I just want to make sure I catch everybody if I can while I'm looking. Yeah, Paul says this and Shaggy says that. Alex says our new rescue hound is nuts, just like Daddy. And I got no idea. Okay. Anything? Yeah, Kevin has what it takes, folks. Don't ever think you don't. Don't think for a second Kevin is naive. Don't think he doesn't know what he's talking about. And don't think he doesn't do everything he does for a specific purpose. I can assure you, people like him, people like Thomas Ackerman, who the reason I love them because of who they are, because of their personality, because they don't try to be somebody they're not. They show their faults. They tell you their faults all the time, and they try to work around it. They don't pretend they're somebody they're not. And it's the same thing with Rad Chick. It's the same thing with everybody else that I support as much as that I can find. And I don't mention Pink Sapphire enough because I love her. All she's doing is making sure somebody else, she can read it for you. It's really cool. And I got to learn to try to get everybody in. Hi, Wanda, Grandma, Grantham. Thank you. I love you too, honey. I get most of your comments, sweetie. Well, Kevin's for instance is angry because like he's desperate. He's frustrated that the people and that we're losing the opportunities, right, that are dear. By the time everybody wakes up, it'll be too late. You won't be able to get those opportunities back. That's what I read into Kevin. And so he's kind of like me, where he's desperate he hasn't got time to play with educating people that are don't want to try. He doesn't care. He knows that they'll catch up eventually. There's nothing he can do, and he can't frustrate himself on a few when the many can benefit. And that's why I love him, right? Thank you, Adam. I know. I don't think of myself, unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, because that's not who I see myself as, right? I can't go out on the boat and do the work. I got to send a crew out there. I can't. I don't even know how much of the trip I can put in. I'll do my best. I'll do what it takes. Obviously, we'll do what it takes, right? That's for sure. But I got my reservations about how this is going to impact me. But there's nothing I can do about it. It's just, can I pull through it all? You got to realize what my life has been like. And I'm not going to tell it to you because I don't need to. When you smoke filters, it looks like a joint. I know. Give me a break. I'm sure I'll read that one in the comment section later. And let's get a few pictures. I always think of when I see that picture, who do I think of? I think of Rockefeller and the Rothschilds for some reason, hiding away in the background. I think of Ken Buechler a lot when I see that picture too, I must admit. And I think of Jade Cullen, how he was going to go into all the communities for the next 3 years and have town hall meetings. Not take them to the beach and explain to them the ocean is healthy routine, because he couldn't, but get them into a building and show them some slides and bananas and potatoes and give him the old slick and polished shoe salesman, car salesman routine. He's going to be despised, that guy. He's going to be despised. The University of Victoria is going to be absolutely hated for what they're doing to British Columbia. They're going to be despised until the end of time. And so will the nuclear industry, and rightly so. They deserve nothing less. Right? They had these little toys for children to indoctrinate them, you know? And then you got the people talking about bananas washing up on the beach because it's harmless, when there's nothing on the beach now, only bananas. If we're lucky, there's bananas. Because there's nothing else there, only a handful of species, and they're not going to hang on because we can't stop Fukushima, because we can't have a debate, because we won't even try, because everybody out there is saying about acid is killing everything instead of radiation. Instead of just facing up to it and saying, okay, we can't go on another minute. They can't do that because they won't have no pensions. Their children won't look them in the eye. They won't have a job at your institutions. They won't be able to get up in the media. Nobody will want to have them for a neighbor. And it's not my fault. It's not your fault that they went and got an education, knew the difference, and told you it was like bananas. It's their fault. And the blame will go where it deserves to go. And it deserves to go on their shoulders because they lied. It's not my fault that they lied. I didn't make them lie for a paycheck and for a future pension that's not going to be there, because they won't give it up. They won't treat it like the danger and the threat to the entire planet that it is, that they still want to blame it on global warming. We'll set your hair on fire in a couple of weeks is what's going to happen to you people. Because people are going to pull the hair out of your head, because they'll understand that the global warming lie is what got us here in the first place. This is how they hid it. This is how they buried it. This is how they're killing us. By using that lie against us. By saying it's our tin cans, our pop bottles, and our cardboard that done it, when it's people like Fukushima and the nuclear industry and the apologists and the media and everybody that supported them and apologized for him and refused to hear another version, refused to hear another narrative, refused to admit that a banana is homeostasis and that the whole planet shouldn't want to hang those people. I hope they do. I got no issues with it. Let the hanging begin. It's not like you don't deserve it. It's not like you're not a criminal. It's not like you're not a threat to the entire planet, because you won't stop. You won't stop lying. You won't give it up for a second. You won't let the planet have a chance. All you want to do is come out and make up shit about acid and algae when it's all gone. Sorry, folks. I'm snapping at this stage. But I mean, my goodness, that's why we're in this problems, because they won't stop lying. They just won't stop. They won't give us a break. They won't let us have a debate. They won't put out a real narrative because they can't look their children in the eye. But at that, they can't hide from that only for another few days. Because what we're going to do is going to end that lie forever. And I know I came out and screamed about it a little while ago because I don't think I should have to go up the coastline. I think that they can come out and we can treat it like a meteorite and everybody can get over the anger after and we can go to work on it. Because if we don't, we are in some serious trouble. Every species on the planet. It's not a joke. The Pacific Ocean is lost. You can't stop Fukushima. How are you going to save it? If you can't stop Fukushima and you're going to treat it like homeostasis, how are you going to stop? You're going to slip into this little fantasy land where the government takes care of you and feeds you movies over the network 24 hours a day and stay in your little bunkers till the end of time without trying? Do you think that's actually going to work? No. What we need is a concerted effort to get moving and salvage this planet. That's what we're doing. What we're doing is we're not asking permission, we're taking it. We're not asking for cooperation, we're going to take it. We're not asking for anything that is extraordinary. We're asking for an opportunity for the whole planet to band together like a meteorite is coming at us and go to work and try to have a future for what is going to be left after the carnage is said and done in the next couple of years. This is why they're coming out with Ebola and pathogens that are weaponized so that over the next year or 2 years when the die-offs are happening, they're going to try to blame it on that. Why Jay Cullen from the University of Victoria is going around telling everybody in the community, don't worry about radiation, it's like bananas. We're up against the most evilest people on the planet, shaking your hand with their fingers. That's Jay Cullen right there as far as I'm concerned you're looking at. And Ken Buechler and the mainstream media and every professor in the nuclear industry and every apologist and every scientist in the industry. This is what they've done their entire life. To their families, their friends, their parents, their loved ones, their grandchildren, their neighbors, their gas station jockeys, everybody else that ever said, my goodness, you must be pretty smart, you're a nuclear scientist. They put their hand behind their back and said, yeah, we really are. We tricked you too. Look at that. And in a couple of weeks, all the dummies out there that are watching Star Trek and everything else, lost in fluff, are going to come looking for revenge. And whose fault is it to blame? That they lied about it and done this to our planet. Whose fault is that? Is it that guy's fault in the banana? Yeah. The banana is the terrorist, right? Well, the reality of it is that we are setting the stage now to have a debate. That the ocean is dead and we have to treat it like the dire emergency, like with the urgency of a meteorite that's coming at us, and we got a little bit of time to get ready. And do we all sit there on our hands and wait for it to come down and destroy us? Or do we all stand up and put our shoulder up and try to slow it down, put our brains together, put our monetary together, put our universities, our academics, our institutions? We have to purge the nuclear industry at the same time because you can't even trust them because they won't give it up. Utter betrayal. It's an utter humiliation to their family and their friends anyway now. Nothing they can do about it. They can't go to university and look the students in the eye anymore in a week or two. And even killing me ain't going to solve anything. You can't hide the dead ocean. Everybody already knows it. It's just we're going to do this so we can have a debate. And you can see the death coming at us, chewing up our coastline, because after 3 days the disposition was washing back down onto our coastline from the jet streams at 100 miles an hour in 24 hours, 2,400 miles. And everybody's fighting over, did it get here or not? It's already here and already everywhere else. It's already in your water tables. It's already, the industry, all they done was lied to you. Look, that's it. They said bananas. They said potato chips. They said walking in the sunshine. They said potassium 40, homeostasis. They said like a dental x-ray, when it's got nothing to do with any of that. And that there's nothing on the planet that has the ability to live and thrive or survive in the environment, and that no roll of dice is going to save you. For sure, your number is coming up, no matter what you do. And the ocean, of course, the bigger fish, they bioaccumulated. The filter feeders and the low tide line is where you're going to find the carnage. It washes out to the coastline and it slams into the coastline. The bigger fish are like humans. It takes 5, 10, 15 years for the tumors and the cancers to show up. And so they focus on tuna, they focus on whales, they focus on the big mammals. We went in and looked at the tide pool and it was all missing. That's the reality of it. Look at them. That entire country is destroyed. Tokyo is destroyed. Millions of becquerels everywhere. And they're only looking for cesium and iodine. We're talking about 2,000 other radioactive elements. These people haven't got much time left on this planet. You know, as for generations, they are destroyed. You can't live in that environment. Look at this one here. You know, I got Jay Cullen and Dr. Tora Cascio from the University of Alberta. She got up on CBC and said it was like potato chips. You would get more radiation from potato chips than you could from Fukushima. But if you eat potato chips, potassium 40, if you had 10 becquerels, you off-gas 10 becquerels, because that's what your body does with potassium 40. Big, major lie. Outrageous lie. At the end of 2013 on CBC radio. And Jay Cullen in the same month got up and said there was no melter reactors. And I covered that video on my site. You look it up, Jay Cullen. You'll see the links below. You can go listen to him at CBC. And at the end of it, he says, a CBC guy says to Jay Cullen, well, what about there was a melter reactor at Fukushima? Would it be different then? And he said, oh yeah, it'd be much. He said it'd be really big difference then. That would be something to concern about. But he knew there was 3 melter reactors. And he just took $640,000 to go around all the communities and lie again for the next 3.5 years. I got every right to be upset. I got every right to be mad. I got every right to be angry. And so does John Wayne's family. He shot a movie in the desert where they were doing nuclear testing. And so they were rolling around in nuclear fissionable product. And around 70 of the crew members died of cancer. Right? That movie, The Conqueror, Genghis Khan, that's where they were, right? It's demented what they do. Look at what WIP done. Right? WIP came out and said it was like licking an iPhone charger. That's how much radiation you would get. They went to Oklahoma and got Dr. John Neal from the University of Oklahoma. And he said you would get more radiation from eating a banana than you would from Fukushima or WIP fallout. Well, a banana you can't get any more in you. It's homeostasis. But everything that came out of WIP, if you get it, you keep it forever. It sequesters in your organs, in your bones, in your mass, in your heart. It goes right, like cesium will go right into your heart. But like they were only talking about transgenic waste. But we know for fact that they were smuggling into that facility highly, highly dangerous materials, raw yellow cake into that place. That they had to get out of Los Alamos and the other sites. It was an utter betrayal to come out in the community, sit there in front of everybody at the WIP Town Hall meeting and say you get more radiation from licking an iPhone charger than you would from WIP. And so how can we ever trust these people? Why would we ever want to trust these people? Why should we have nothing but contempt for these people is beyond me. That's what they deserve, and that's what's coming, because there's nothing we can do about it. All nuclear power plants boil 1 million gallons a minute, and so in a glass of water, salt water, out of 1 million gallons, just a single glass is 75 to 100 million phytoplankton. That creates oxygen, the basis of the oxygen, and the basis of the food chain. And so by definition, a nuclear power plant is death. It boils 1 million gallons a minute, and so there's trillions of creatures in a glass of water. These plants boil 1 million gallons of it a minute. That's death. It sterilizes it. Like in central Canada, there's 25 of them boiling all the fresh water, killing all the creatures in the water, all the eggs in the water, all the larvae in that water. It's destructive. But all of these plants, these smokestacks, are evaporating 120,000 liters a day into your community from the fuel pools. They're being vented up the stacks. And that's full of radioactive material. Full of it. It's shocking what they've done to us. It's horrific. And they all got to go. And the people that are doing all this have to be prosecuted, and they have to be taken down permanently. They got nowhere to hide, nowhere to go. No war can save them. No pathogens or Ebola is going to save their asses. The planet is going to come looking for it. And even the kids will turn against them. It's not a game, folks. I know it might look like a game, but I mean, they got nowhere. Every 50 miles in the United States is a nuclear waste facility. Every 50 miles. They are disgusting people. They lied to you for 70 years and they pile it up, threw it in your ocean, dumped it in your communities, dumped it in your landfills to get a paycheck because they're morons. And I'll give it up, I know. But this model, I only used that, and then I explained to people there's 2,000 other radioactive elements and 3 melted reactors full-time missing from this equation. This is only based up on a few days' releases over a period of time. Anyway, let's wind it all down. Anything else here interesting? Anything else here interesting, Dana? Let me see. Let me have a quick look. La 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 la. I gotta find one thing here. Let me see. Let me see. Nothing, Dana. Nothing. Come on, Dana. Okay, I'll go the hard way. A banana don't mutate fruit flies. Okay, folks, I'll come back over. We'll wind it down. Let me put it back on the Let me see if there's anything else I can add up to you. The boat will have a roof on it, but tomorrow morning they'll be finished. It's going to cost me a small fortune for a shitty job, but that's we need it. To mount the radars, the sounders, the plotters, the VHF, the daylight system, the GPS antennas, the VHS antennas to keep people in shelter till we can raise enough money to actually put a cabin on it for the winter, for the fall rather. And so people got shelter from the spray. They got shelter, at least something, right? Because it's a lot of work. You got to go out at nighttime. You want to keep the dew off the boat at nighttime when they're out there. And they can hang a tarp down the side of it to keep the rain off them while they're snapping pictures. And so it's just a temporary fix that we got done to the Zodiac. It's a 22-foot Zodiac. It's got a Kevlar bottom. It's a Coast Guard grade. It was only used for rescuing people. It has a very, very loving history of maintenance and rescue work. It's absolutely incredible machine that can challenge any ocean on this planet and any wave on this planet. You can get out there and challenge it, and you will come back. If you stay with your boat, you will come back alive. And so that's the idea of that boat. We don't have to worry about that side of it. You can rip one of those pontoons right off it, and it'll still bring you home. That boat will not go down. And we'll come over and say goodnight to everybody. And just remember, folks, they only built a thing up and across it. They actually didn't go in it. I'm just trying to find a proper picture to leave us on. And let me go to this picture here. Here we go. That's a better picture. Yeah, me too, Punishers. Looking forward to seeing the West Coast Ocean tidal pools. They're coming at us right quick here, folks. In around 48 hours or so, should be posting pictures around that point. We might not see me anymore, but I might get another for a day or two because we'll be on the move. So I can stay up with the Broken Ass Islander and Haida Gwaii. Yeah, we're coming up there, bud. So you can go to nuclearproctologist.org when you see us getting up that way. And you can send me an email or phone me if you can't find a number. It'll be up on nuclearproctologist.org. And I thought about you about that too, because we'll be going up to Masset. We'll go up to Charlotte, Queen Charlotte City. We'll do both sides from Queen Charlotte City. We'll run down to Cape St. James and back. And then we'll move the whole operation up to where you're to, up Masset or something like that. And then we can launch up to Langara and Lucy Island and places like that. And then it's over to finish all the way to Alaska. And then throw it all on the trailer and boot it up to the Yukon, to the Northwest Territory for 6 days in each place up there, and then beat it back down before the ice and the snow shows up and it's too much. But if we can even get a couple of days on the ocean up there, we'll be pretty happy. Hi Lee, hi Brian, Missing Sky, hi Kate, hugs honey, you're doing a good job. And we're very, very proud of you. DJ, take night, good night. Miss Milky the Sky, I know honey, thank you. Manderson in HDD, Diver Dude, Shanigans, Brian. Yeah, we finally got a scheduled 8 p.m. show in because it's been a crazy week. But we're really happy we got everything, right? We still need money for fuel and accommodations, but we'll rough it. We'll take our time. And by the end of the first week, people will see why they should support us. We're roughing it at this stage. Yeah, Connecting the Dots can come with me if he wants to. I told him that I would pick him up. He will take him to those 16 beaches and shut him up. Very quick. Anytime he wants. And Solar Mechanic, yeah, we will so. Laura, Starlight, Wanda, thank you. Amters, Ronald McKnight, Aqua. Don't mind me, folks. I might sound cranky, but I'm not. And Pink, Broke, Adam. Let me see, anybody? Ellie, Toxic, Grandma Gole. Got you into honey, good. I always feel bad when I don't get people in. And we're only doing the best we can. It's non-stop. It's chaotic. It's organized chaotic because of what we're up against. And if it wasn't for a Punisher buying the boat and $12,000 worth of gear, I'd be out there on a log with a little tarp on it floating up the coastline going, I hope the tide don't push me too far out to sea. Because I would. Make no mistake about it. No matter what, the job is getting done. That's it. I don't care. I'm really happy that we're at this stage now where I know that is true. 100%. And I can't thank everybody enough for their support, their messages, their comments, the equipment, the monetary and the ability and your best wishes most importantly, and your heart and your soul behind us. I know that. And that's why I do the things I do. I know that no matter what, if I got to reach out to you folks will get us out of a jam. And so that's all that matters to me. We'll keep going. We'll be at it all day, every day. There will be no relenting till we're finished. No relenting till it's all done. And I can guarantee we can drag Connect on the boat. He doesn't matter. That's Ken Buesler and Jay Cullen's little bastard child. That's what that guy is. He's nothing more than a University of Victoria mouthpiece. It's irrelevant. We're about to destroy him by going to his own territory and taking that away from him. And I look forward to it. Same as I look forward to you folks the next time. Good night, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for supporting us. You really made it. You really made it happen, right? We're only going to go do the job. You made sure that we were able to do it. That was the most important thing. We were always willing, but until we reached out and asked and got your support, it was at that point that we understand we will get this done. And I can guarantee you it'll be done properly, done effectively, cost efficiently, and it'll be done promptly with no headaches, and we will get an opportunity to move forward. That's all we're asking. Good night, everybody. Remember, I love you. And hugs for everybody, okay? I really do. You've done so much for me. I just absolutely adore you. Take care, folks.